in the hood like most black folks. Little did they know it comes gorillas from the south coast. Breaking them boots out, leaving them broken in many pieces. Black rain for not 5 each pushing posse going to 6 with this revolutionary tactic. Them flips up under my mattress. I practice pro-blackness. Now they say I'm prejudiced when she didn't tell this. No, I'm not suicidal, but I'm dying for my people. No, I'm not addicted. I distinguish good from evil. I used to well on grounds, align my mind to burn from ignorance. I cut away my perm, I got strong. Some can't deal with this mentality. Think that I'm weak, I'm not no gangster. It won't be televised. How many times my posse pull the trigger? Lord, oh Lord, am I the devil too, or am I really the son? Unto the throne, son of all this true image of you, a portrait that I could not never see. Dumb as I may be, I never go. I come a G genocide.
Ready.
All right. Peace and power. Once again, welcome to the Panther 48. I'm going to introduce Brother War calling out of California.
All power to the people. Brother Robert War, Panther 48, Chairman, San Diego Black Panther Party, Chief of Staff, National People's Black Panther Party.
I'm going to introduce Brother E calling out of Florida.
Yes, sir. Power to the people.
And again, what we've been doing with the channel, we have been going into grassroots organizations and dealing with and interviewing founders, co-founders, and day one boots on the ground revolutionaries who can give us insight into the growth, development, and starting of many of these groups and organizations. Today, we have on the panel Sister Krystal Muhammad from the new Black Panther Party.
Black Power.
And
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sister, for coming on the show. You've been preceded by Aaron Michaels, the brother, the brother out of Atlanta. We had the brother that started the Hugh P. Newton Gun Club, and we've had some heavy hitters on the show. And now we have the pleasure of having you on the show. I want to ask you one simple question. Can you tell the listening audience, the viewing audience, who is Krystal Muhammad, and how did you get started down the path of being a revolutionary?
Okay, Krystal Muhammad, that term, revolutionary, pretty much sums me up. I'm a freedom fighter. I've been involved in the Black Liberation Movement since I was 19 years old. I'm now 49. I started off doing death penalty abolition work in Houston, Texas. I was initially a political science student, looking to be a law student at Texas Southern University. I got involved with the National Black United Front in Houston, Texas. And there was a case that came to our organization for a brother by the name of Gary Graham at the time, who later changed his name to Shaka Sankofa. Once I started looking into the death penalty and how racist it was, and started working for a Black law firm and having to go to the Harris County Courthouse and witness blatant racism on a daily basis, I decided there's no way in the world I could be an attorney because I didn't have the disposition to kiss. Can we curse?
Hell no.
Yeah, you are allowed to curse.
Okay. I didn't have the disposition to kiss white folks' ass, which most of the attorneys I saw doing. I didn't have the it wasn't in my spirit to get people to plea out cases just because they didn't have money, which I witnessed the attorneys doing. I would go as a legal assistant to the courthouse and see a line wrapped around the whole courthouse with mostly Black and brown people. And I came to the understanding that the so-called criminal justice system was so racist and evil and classist. It was about money. It was about waiting out, how long you could wait out the court process. And I got involved I became more interested in doing social justice work. I remember there was a demonstration in April of 1993 to stop the execution of Gary Graham. I went out on my lunch break from the law firm that I was working for and never came back. I started working with several organizations. We had a successful campaign doing grassroots organizing from 1993 until 2000, with the stopping of Gary Graham's execution about 5 different times until the old racist George Bush became governor. And when he became governor, he used Shaka Sankofa, which Gary Graham became politicized and changed his name to Shaka Sankofa. He used that platform of executing and murdering an innocent Black man to become president. During that 7-year period from 1993 to 2000, when Shaka Sankofa was killed in June of 2000, June 20th, I believe, I witnessed people who were Black so-called leaders sell us out. I witnessed organizations that were supposed to be freedom, which I thought at the time were supposed to be for the liberation of Black people, cower when it came to so-called white supremacist power. And at the execution of Shaka Sankofa, in fact, that was the first time I ever saw the brothers of the New Black Panther Party. I had heard about the New Black Panther Party because around 96, 97, I started attending the Nation of Islam. In about 98, I believe Dr. Khalid was having some issues, and he had mentioned that he was with the Nation, that he had been building with some brothers in Dallas of the Black Panther Party, but I never actually, I heard him mention that, and I remember some of the others, some of my partners was like, you mean to tell me they got Panthers in Dallas? But we never saw the New Black Panther Party. I saw the brothers when Shaka Sankofa was the day of the execution, and it was a couple of years later that at that time we were student activists, and we did the level of resistance that we could do. But a couple of years later, in 2002, I believe, at the reparations in Darba in Houston, Texas, that's when I was able to be up close, up front with the New Black Panther Party. I saw you guys at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I remember seeing Brother War. He had this long beard. I saw Brother Osiris. He looked like Huey P. Newton. I saw Brother Malik. I was like, man, it was just the energy. I was like, man, I gotta get down with these brothers. Forget all that. And ever since then, I've been on board. It's been a very challenging journey, but well worth it. In the New Black Panther Party, we have dealt with so many cases which we believe were righteous cases to get involved with. We've done a lot of work in the communities. We've done a lot of building of brothers and sisters to help to develop freedom fighters. There's been a lot of good things, bad things, ugly things, and lovely things, very lovely things mostly, that I've experienced being a freedom fighter. I evolved from being an activist when I first met the New Black Panther Party to becoming a revolutionary. And there is a big difference in that. And when I first got involved, I had into the movement, and as I said, we were organizing. I really thought, even though I knew it was racist, that this system could be worked for justice. But during these years of being in the New Black Panther Party, I've witnessed lynchings in Mississippi, in Texas, in Georgia, and Florida, that we hit the ground and were able to uncover the facts in the political climate between the pigs, the press, so-called Black leaders, was of a hush-hush quiet, sort of like how child molestation goes on in the Black community, and people are hush-hush quiet about it. The racism is so perverted in this country. The injustice is so perverted, but too many of our people on the hush-hush quiet about it. So the New Black Panther Party allowed me a platform to not only organize against injustice, but to help build other brothers and sisters, and to be liberated and free, to not worry about somebody pulling out funding or trying to get some type of a pat on the head from the Negroes or the crackers. You know,
So
but I've met some very outstanding people. Yes, sir. You have a question?
I was gonna say, so with that, knowing that not only are you a chairwoman, but you are the national chairwoman of the new Black Panther Party, how has that been? What kind of challenges have you faced with that as it applies to being in the movement, as well as just in general?
Well, the challenges with being the national chair are pretty much the circumstance to lead me to being the chair caused a split within the new Black Panther Party. And once the new Black Panther Party had splits, there became splits on top of splits. So we have various formations, and I bump into people, you know, who ask, you know, what about this? What about that? So the challenge has been to be able to present to the everyday working people that although there are different formations, you know, most of us are standing in solidarity, and that, you know, we just simply don't live in a kumbaya world. That's on the surface, but honestly, my main challenge is sexism is as perverted and rampant as racism. I deal with extreme sexism. Even when I became chair, brothers who had trained me and I had worked with literally would say behind my back, it was reported to me that, you know, I would do good. I'm good with finances and organizing, but I shouldn't be the chair because I'm a sister. People who I worked with for 13 years prior to becoming the chair. Sexism is as intricate as racism. And it's worse because the majority of the time the sexism comes from your brothers who are supposed to be the protectors. But because of the way this society has attempted to emasculate the brothers, unfortunately, I witnessed that they, instead of stepping up to the plate and doing more, they get intimidated by the fact that there's a sister in the forefront. And they, you know, use these terminologies and statements, you know, that I'm constantly having to even identify to them as being, you know, sexist. And I don't think they intentionally do it, but they do it. A prime example, a brother say, oh, brother, you're being all emotional. You acting like a woman. What the fuck does that mean? Men don't have emotions? You know, I hear statements like, you know, I mean, and it's you know, I think that it's because we live in a society that is so patriarchal with religions, that this is a key part of it, and just the culture. However, on the flip side, being in the new Black Panther Party, this was the most balanced organization that I've been able to come across that allowed women to take the lead. I was never told, oh, sister this, oh, sister that. In fact, you brothers had me swinging across the vine and laying in the mud just like the brothers, you know? And
I got a couple of questions I want to ask.
Yes, sir.
That's off the script, because I was out of the picture for a while, so a few of these things they still new to me. So first, before I go into that rabbit hole, I want to ask this: before you became the national chairperson, what were you? What position did you hold, and what city did you operate out of?
Oh, yes, sir. Before I became the national chairperson, I was the Houston chair, 2002 to I believe 2012, almost for a amount of time. And then Brother Ward Williams, who was the regional rep, moved to Atlanta or Florida, and he appointed me to take the position that he held as Southern Regional Rep. So I was and I held that position for about 10 years. So I went from Houston chair to Southern Regional Representative. And in that position, myself, the brothers from Dallas mostly, comrades from Houston and New Orleans and Atlanta, we would be what folks had identified as the Vanguard Squad. We would travel across the Southern region, dealing with different cases, from lynchings like Brandon McClellan to the Gina 6 movement to the Hurricane Katrina search and rescue operations. You know, and some of my main, you know, the brother right there, he's being very humble, but Brother War, you know, Brother War is very intricate. Brother E would always challenge us, you know, on our ideology. That ideology, if I heard ideology, that would be Brother E. But as far as strategy and tech, that would be Brother War. Captain David Foreman was very intricate. He's sort of like a legend to a lot of the new Panthers. They ain't never seen him. You know, I'm always referencing him. But Brother War and Brother David were very instrumental as far as helping to let me cut my teeth in the party. And even old goofy ass Malik Zulu Shabazz gave me the platform to be the chair. You know, he threw me out there with a box of magazines and told me to take Houston. I was like, all right. But thank God I could shoot right down the street to Dallas, Texas. And rest in peace, Brother DK and Osiris and Ali and all the comrades down there. Very key. Brother E, all you guys are very key to help my development as a revolutionary. Black Power.
Mm-hmm. Now you spoke
Brother Aaron Michaels, let me not forget. Oh shit.
You spoke of coming into national chairmanship. You said that it was based on splits that happened in the party. Can you give a little insight into that, these splits?
Well, let me see. I'm trying to get the year right. 2013. What happened? Can y'all see me?
Nope.
You turned your video off.
There you go.
All right. In 2013, the former chairman, Malik Zulu Shabazz, I believe had some type of a temper tantrum. I don't really know what happened, but he decided that he was going to quit and the New Black Panther Party, and he convened a conference call with all of the chairs and officers, national, local, regional. It was an October call, I remember. And he said he was quitting and that he was disbanding the Central Committee and that he was calling for an election of a new Central Committee. Why my phone keep doing that? He was calling for the election of a new Central Committee. On that call, we asked, you know, prior to that call, we were planning a national summit. But once he did that call, I was the one that even asked him, like, when would your resignation be taking place? He said he didn't want to. He said that immediately after that call ended, he said he didn't want us to say he resigned. He wanted to be said that his tenure was served or whatever, something to that effect. And so immediately after that call, we started. There was a decision made on that call that we would have move forward with the national summit and use that forum as a platform to elect the new leadership of the New Black Panther Party. A few days after that call, as we were planning on this summit, Malik Zulu Shabazz went on. We said he was going to do a radio broadcast to try to stop the organizing of this summit. We sent him a statement. What I'm saying, we members of the New Black Panther Party who are officers across the nation, that we did not want him to go public and air our internal business. that we wanted to deal with what was going on internally. But he ignored it, did a radio broadcast, and said he was calling off the election and was declaring martial law on the party, and that he was appointing Hashim Nzinga to be the chairman into perpetuity, and Sean Kwali to be the chief of staff. And, you know, we wasn't having all that. We didn't take oppression from the European, much less the Negropean. So
he said he was declaring martial law on the party.
Yeah, he said he was declaring martial law on the party. So we the Black Power chief of staff. We got out. I want y'all to, brother chief of staff, come in before they coming in out the battlefield. Like brother, come on in. Black Power, Sister Mo Dupe.
Black Power.
Black Power.
Training, like you told me, brother War, I'm training my replacements.
Black Power.
All right, good job, sister.
Training my replacements. Yes, sir. So we out here in the battlefield. Like I said, where was I? Oh, Malik declared martial law. We said fuck all that. We had our election in Atlanta. Coincidentally, where I'm at right now. We met at the Castleberry Hotel, and we declared our determination from neo-colonialism, our self-determination from oppression. I was actually pushing to get Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. to be the chair. We had some discussions. I thought that was going to happen. He pulled out the last minute. And at the summit, if I'm not mistaken, Captain David Foreman nominated myself. Is that right, Brother Wall?
Yeah, it was several of the of us at that point in time was all in agreement with you pushing in on that position.
Right. So he said it out loud, and then all of the comrades voted me in. And honestly, I thought, shit, I'm a sister. I guess the sexism had deep into my head. I was like, what I'm gonna do? I'm a sister. How I'm gonna do this? But the brothers and sisters gave me the confidence, and the position, and so here we are. After that, you know, we've been rocking and rolling. There was a few incidences that took place, in which we had a different split or two within the new Black Panther Party. But we will remain, most of us have remained allies and comrades. And I always ask Brother Wall, was this part of his plan? Because I remember reading something you wrote one time about the cell theory. And you told me, I don't remember what you said, but I don't know if I'm saying too much on this Zoom. But, you know, I was just talking to some new people we recruited in Columbia. Yeah, we got a posse down here in South Carolina we recruited. They were coming down from this town called Sumter every day, an hour and a half to help us search for Brother Sharif's daughter, Sanaa Amenhotep. And that's the whole, this is open up a can of worms, you know, because I must say, you know, we've been dealing with lynchings and police brutality and racism, which our enemy was clear. We would narrow it down to a family or with these lynchings or, you know, individuals or police departments. But with this human trafficking, it's Black people that we found are behind this. Now, who are their puppet masters? You know, Columbia, South Carolina is a capital city, but these tribe members, you know, are preying on young girls, 13, 14, 15, you know, getting them strung out, come to find out that a small city like Columbia or not so densely populated state like South Carolina has over 5,000 out of the 8,000 missing children. So that's over 5%, you know, and hitting the ground, having to deal with, you know, this particular city that we in. We have the Bloods got a section, the GD's got a section, and it's quite a whole new can of worms that we have to deal with. And it's been taking a lot of resources, a lot of groundwork. We've been down here 2 weeks. We got some leads, but no sign of this child. And so this is taking us to a new, I don't know what the term is, to a new turning point in the new Black Panther Party. We work with, injustices. We've been doing disaster response, but this human trafficking and sex trafficking is a whole new animal. And I'm going to request some expertise and help with this. I've heard about it on my peripheral, but as far as actually getting involved, is to have the families not have closure. It's pretty deep. I was not aware how aggressive a runaway culture we have in this country. And that even in this state, they criminalize the children for running away. They put charges on them when they run away. So it's a whole new rabbit hole that we've been dealing with down here. So if my energy seems a little off, shit, I'm tired. We've been day and night.
Hey, I got a question.
Turning the corners, but yes, sir.
I was gonna say I got a question in regards to that when dealing with the resources. You also work under the banner of the Black Cross. So explain a little bit in terms of why the Black Cross and how that symbolism is needed in today's time, 2021, because a lot of the youth are not familiar with the Black Cross. So what can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yes, the Black Cross is a humanitarian arm of the new Black Panther Party, in which we started. We came up with the concept after we had the search and rescue operation in Katrina, after Katrina, which Brother Wall was a part of that team that went down days after the Katrina hurricane to do search and recovery, search and rescue. At that point, we realized that, damn, if a disaster hit, we on our own. We witnessed that the government, they turned our resources to their own. It became, the first 5 days became whites only evacuations. So at that point, which was another turning point, I'd say this is another, when I'm speaking of the sex trafficking, let me go back. When Hurricane Katrina hit, it was a paradigm shift. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as many of us in the party was concerned, because we knew that we were going to have to evolve to more than just dealing with some of the things that were in the 10-point platform. Our self-determination was going to have to become even greater. And so we chose the term Black Cross because the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, his nursing brigade and medical brigade was called the Black Cross. The Black Star was his ship. And so because we were doing disaster assistance, it became clear that term would be something that we need to do, because a few years after the Hurricane Katrina, there was an earthquake in Haiti, which took our, in 2010, there was an earthquake in Haiti in which once again, we saw our people being stranded, but this time it was on an international level by being in an island and not here in the States. So it was quite perfect that we used the term the Black Star, because our plight is a global plight. Pan-Africanism is at the forefront of everything that we deal with, because this system of so-called white supremacy has affected us as African people all across the planet. And so we were able to get resources from Robert Mugabe and Muammar Gaddafi at the time when the earthquake hit to get the supplies down to Haiti. And so, there's a lot of, in living down here in the Gulf region, we call it water world. It's not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, because we know we're going to have flooding and disasters. It's a matter of when. So we are constantly training and preparing and elevating. We are doing water rescue training. We're getting ready to have water rescue training coming soon. We've done a lot of field training. But again, speaking of resources, there's a few of us that are constantly on the ground. We're gonna have to pull these cells together and start working more collectively because the aggressiveness of this country is getting ready to get worse. They're getting ready to bring home 200,000 killers from overseas who have been spent the last 20, 30 years killing non-white people. And these 200,000 troops are going to be placed into the police force, or these private agencies. We are dealing with a lot of vigilante activity with some of these recent cases, and the rabbit hole regarding this human trafficking thing involves the police department and elected officials. So as the different groups have been split apart, I would appeal that we figure out a way to pull back together or put together a network where we're more effective. Brother War, you guys out there on the West Coast, but he's down there in Florida. We've been hunkering down and holding the line in the southern region, in the Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi corridor. Comrades up on the East Coast, when they came down for us to help with Brother Sharif, they had to get back to their region. And we had to, on the ground, recruit people. We're gonna have to get more aggressive because our training has come into effect. And we've been able, I must say, as far as resources, we've been able to be self-sufficient by brothers and sisters within the new Black Panther Party putting our resources together. But that has become cumbersome. We have different individuals who we've met who give us resources here and there. We're gonna have to evolve on that end. We're working on some agriculture aspects as we speak. I don't want to give the enemy any of our intricate details, but we're working on some things to become even more self-sufficient. But we need to, like we have in this call, I look forward to have a sit-down meeting of the minds for us to move forward, because things are tightening up resource-wise. What's going to happen in September when the so-called unemployment is cut? I know a lot of Black business owners who folded because of this so-called pandemic. I know a few people who have gotten some PPP money here and there, but when you have put together a business that took you 20, 30 years to put together, $20,000, $30,000 is not enough. So we're going to be witnessing more economic hardships is what I'm getting at as far as our people. So as far as the programs of getting out and feeding and serving the people, we need to increase that. And we will need to be growing our own foods. We have a program called Grow Up Not Grass, where we're getting brothers and sisters to plant in their own yard. You can go a long way. I'm not a vegan yet, but I'm pescatarian, but working my way there. So
I got another question here.
Yes, sir.
Kind of just going right off the back of you talking about resources. So you're actively involved in the Republic of New Africa. A lot of people are not familiar with the Republic of New Africa across the United States, outside of the southern sectors. Briefly, tell us about what the RNA stands for and what's the relevance of the RNA in this generation.
The Republic of New Africa was established by freedom fighters who knew some of the great freedom fighters like Malcolm X and the Maury brothers, Queen Mother Moore, Brother Robert Williams, the other Robert Williams, the one with Negroes with guns, the OG Robert Williams, Queen Mother Moore. But the Republic of New Africa is the international determination, a determination of self, a statement of independence and determination that goes by the international law that we are New African people We say we are new African people because we are a mix of so many tribes of the continent, so many countries of the continent, along with the indigenous people who were here on the land, and we have a very unique experience. And yes, we are Africans, but we are new African. Our experience is something that no people have ever went through. So in that, our great elders had the brilliance to determine our independence and to claim a territory, which based on the international law, we have the right to not be under the rulership of this United States government. And so it is a independence declaration in which a territory of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia were to be the starting points of a liberated territory, sort of like what you have in Israel. When after 4 years of the so-called Holocaust, the so-called Jews were given a territory as a part of reparations for what happened in World War II. Well, our people have been through 400 years. And the Republic of North Africa is a declaration that we need our own territory, that this government not only owes us that, and it's something that is not new. The Nation of Islam has said this. And there are those of us, even right now, who believe that we need even more than this 5-state territory, but we don't stop this 5-state territory. And so we have been anchoring in these key states to set up independent liberation zones. And these are some of the demands. There is a code of emotion that is our basis of governance for the Republic of North Africa. Right now it's provisional. Provisional meaning it's operating until we have actually been declared and recognized as an independent government. And according to what I understand, that was taught to me by Dr. Mario Badelli, we need just one country, one nation to recognize our independence. Just how Morocco was the first country to recognize the United States as independence. See, United States is a nation state. Instead of Republic of Africa is the nation state. And it's a determination that we have in which we know will wind up being the ultimate revolutionary cataclysm, but that's something else to talk about. But we make this determination, and as citizens of the Republic of North Africa, we have our own president, vice president, offices and cabinets of the government, military, courts, but it needs a lot of work and it needs more people. But it does exist as the new Black Panther Party. Although it is 30 years old, it's still a baby. In this Black liberation movement, compared to 500 years of oppression, compared to 500 years of being in so-called slavery, the Black liberation movement is still evolving. And so the Republic of North Africa is the government of the new Black Panther Party.
And real quick, one of the reasons why I definitely wanted you to express that is because myself, when I was involved heavily with the Republic of North Africa, one of the biggest complications I faced is being able to get that concept embraced by the new Black Panther Party. And it was brother Fahim, who basically was the spearhead and very instrumental in being able to make sure that was embraced on a national level. Because the new Black Panther Party, when I was on the national, we tried multiple times to get the new Black Panther Party on the national level to recognize that we should fall under that umbrella. And once Fahim finally stepped into a strong enough position within our ranks, that's when that movement really progressed. And so I just kind of wanted to throw that out there.
Well, don't be so shy, brother. Yes, definitely, Brother Fahim was very instrumental, but you were also masterminding that thing too, in which helping us with the drafting the concepts. And Brother Fahim, rest in peace. Yes, RBG was our Miami chairman of the New Black Panther Party, who became the National Minister of Information under the Central Committee, in which I was elected chair. He was elected National Minister of Information. And at the time, he was also the PCC chair for the Republic of North Africa. And so Brother Fahim was very, not only instrumental with helping us to solidify our declaration that the New Black Panther Party is not only a part of the Republic of North Africa, but we are working actively in the establishment of the Republic of North Africa. And so our ideology, some of the tenets that we strive for was not only developed by Brother Fahim Ali, but you, Brother Ward Williams.
Thank you, Sister
It's in the
Krystal.
manual. It's my reconstruction section.
Gotcha. A lot of people don't know about that. Let me ask you another question here. What is your definition of protest, and what roles does the NBPP play in regards to taking on support for protests, and what must the people take away from participating in protests?
Yes, protest to me is the people's right to express their grievances before the government or any entity that has wronged them. And so as far as protesting, I believe it is a very instrumental tool in allowing people to redress grievances, but also it is very key as far as recruiting. It is also very instrumental as far as putting political pressure on this wicked racist government. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of cases of injustice that take place. But the only ones that seem to get any type of a little piece of possible justice are the ones in which holy hell was raised. Look at the case of George Floyd. It took America burning for months and months to get a pig indicted. There are hundreds of thousands of cases of police brutality. Hundreds of thousands of cases. But it took America burning down, literally on fire for days upon days, and getting ready to spark up again. So when brothers and sisters and people of all, I mean, I'm just gonna say people, but to be quite honest, we've seen all kind of people out demonstrating over the last couple of years, and Black people have been we are being hunted down. We are being literally hunted down by the slave patrol or the police. It is like watching a horrible reality show anytime you turn on the news, because it is real. We are being hunted. We are the prey, P-R-E-Y. Where our ancestors and the elders have been praying, P-R-A-Y, in the churches, these Europeans are preying on us for extermination, for constant instilling trauma in our minds. And you have these incidents that happen on a daily basis. And so other than complete armed resistance, in which the people actually start firing back at the police, the act of protest is the most advantageous thing that the average person is able to do. Now you have people who are more than average, who are training and practicing for self-determination on higher levels. But to me, protest, that's what a protest is. You are expressing your grievance. Sometimes they're organized by organizations, but what I've noticed over these last few years, the people take it to the streets before the so-called organizations. And we have used these opportunities to hit the ground and recruit. Similar to just what happened here in South Carolina. We came down to Columbia, South Carolina, to find Brother Sharif's daughter. While we were there a few days, this European started bullying this young kid. A demonstration popped off. It was nothing but youngsters out there. And do you think we would be foolish enough not to seize that time? We seized that time to get down there and recruit. And I'm gonna tell you, they was ready. They had bats and everything. They was ready to bat this man's house down in front of news cameras. So we had to step up and say, whoa, hold, we had to politicize them on the spot because they had the heart. See, I would take somebody with the heart any day than somebody with the head who are cowed and won't move. And these young people are so determined. And listen, the same people folks run around turning their nose up at are the ones that we look to train and to recruit, and also, even if they don't join directly, to have them a part of the Black Power movement who will be instrumental in forming our Black nation. And so, I hope that answers your question. I just to cut it straight to the chase, protesting is a way of people expressing their grievances on the surface level, but as revolutionaries, it's prime stomping grounds for recruiting. And that's what we use them to do.
Okay, another question, just even jumping on that, because you're talking about recruiting here and addressing quality over quantity within the Black Panther movement. Why does this continue to be such a challenge, or do you feel like it's a challenge?
Well, that was, of course, it's a challenge. Everything's a challenge, We don't get anything easy, But we, in the new Black Panther Party, I say that it's probably like we get a some amount of people we meet on the streets. We get with the new technology, we get online recruitment. But taking those, I've heard those critiques and criticisms from yourself, Brother Aaron Michaels, on how we should have quality over quantity. And we just gotta face it. We volunteer freedom fighters. We are volunteer freedom fighters. We are not getting paid. In fact, to become a part of the new Black Panther Party, you gotta put your money in, because we are not getting funded. And so it takes a unique type of people. And even when I learned from Captain David, even if somebody serves, 1 month, that was 1 month that majority of these people ain't doing shit. Most Black people sitting around waiting on somebody else to save them. I get so perturbed when our people who know us that's in the movement, they say, Sister Krystal, what you Black Panthers gonna do? I'm like, what we gonna do? What you gonna do? We always doing something. We need Black up. Like people say, call us when you need us. What? It's an SOS. It's been an SOS. And so, but as far as I'm saying that because, when you recruiting, you're gonna get or people join. Sometimes you're gonna get a Brother E or Psych or Sister Krystal or War or Brother Catcher. But most of the time we just get Black people that's tired of being messed over. And so we have to find ways of, which we have been working on, of letting people work in the lane at the end. Some of them might not even last 2 months. And some of them last 2, 3 years or 20 years. We don't know. But the time that we have them with us, we make sure they don't lead the same. It's the reason why you got these splinter groups. They might have came in and got put out because they wouldn't follow the rules. But they still wanted to go do such and such. Or we bumped heads on something, but you can't take the Panther out of people if it's already in them, you know? And so, but just to get to the point with the new Black Panther Party, under this formation, we do require political education. During the 9-day process, we have a strenuous political education curriculum based in the manual and some of the reconstructed principles in the manual. We also require that you do work in your community. We're not just interested in people just trying to join and giving us more headache. Are you going to work? See those two things right there, that help trim the fat. You know, when somebody's sending their application, they learn that they have to actually study and participate. That trims the fat right there. When a demonstration, you know, something happens on the news and everybody's mad, they started emailing us, they mad. And then when they find out, oh, you have to send an application, there's a structure, there's order, we 5% of those people actually move forward because they just had their emotional response. But of those, the people that do fall in, we do require, you know, nobody wants to be around no weirdo. Just keep it real. We run into a lot of weirdos, and we'll find out if you're a weirdo between the political education training and meet you in the field.
What's the definition of a weirdo?
Meet you in the field. We find out definition of a weirdo. Yeah. Oh man.
I want to be able to identify these. What is a weirdo? What would validate weirdness? What would make a person a weirdo?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, a person that is sincere and that's really on the same frequency, we can discern, you can tell that. A person who lies, a person who over embellishes, you know, I've had people tell me, oh, I got 80 members. I'm like, 80 members? We just met you. You know, that's the definition of a weirdo. They starting off lying.
Yeah.
They
have no honor, no principles.
No honor, no principle. They're not loyal. You know, they're not, they lack character. You can meet, I mean, like I said, a person can put forth their representative, but you get in them fields and deal with some of them situations that we be dealing with. The truth come out. The one time this lady told us she had to go give blood, she not coming back. We were so many excuses. But she just started coming trying to follow her brother. Yeah. You know, or somebody they just trying to be nosy, you know, or and then when they find out you know, they don't want to pay dues. Why wouldn't you want to pay dues? You don't mind paying the preacher man tithes? You know, $25 a month. We rarely get that from any individual on actuality. We might get $25 every other month or once a year, you know. But the core people, we put our money in. You know, we you know, it's a goes about talking about honor. You know, it's an honor to be a Black Panther. Just keep it real. You know, the Black Panther is in the hearts and minds of Black people. You don't have to convince somebody what a Black Panther is. Most of our people are aware of this, you know, and they respect it, either they like it or not, you know. And so we have been through situations where only because we was Black Panthers. Remember, we was in Ferguson. We didn't even, we went to go doing Ferguson. I remember we went to go pick up some money. That's before Cash App. That's before that Cash App came on board. We used to have to go to Western Union and MoneyGram. And I remember going to pick up a MoneyGram, and I had my uniform on, and I was reaching in my pocket. I had slid the MoneyGram form on the counter to the lady, and I bent down to reach in my pocket to get my ID. The lady had already started giving me my money, simply because of my uniform. I was like, I went on to show her ID so she didn't get my ID so she didn't get fired. I was like, wow. So I thought that was just an anomaly. A few days later, this time we went into a Western Union. Same thing. I put my paper up. I'm talking to a comrade. I turn around. The lady had handed me my money already. The respect of a Black Panther goes a long way. We've driven across country on missions many a time. And it's only the love of Black people that make us make it. We might get tired, have to sleep over here, sleep over there. Somebody, make us something to eat. We patching our money together. Other comrades pulling money. Tell them what I doing, Katrina. We didn't even know it was a curfew.
Right.
We just so happened to be leaving during the curfew. We didn't need a lot of this stuff is very spiritual. And that's another thing. I can tell Black Panthers by their energy, by their spirit, a person's spirit. You can determine to talk about a weirdo. You'll know somebody a nut when you talking to them, and when you talking to them, you don't even have to be in the Black Panther movement to know that. Especially being around us, they over embellish, underperform, or just do things to try to sabotage. And so, we don't have any problem with telling people, thank God it's other formations. We tell them go join such and such.
Hey, let me ask you another question here. And it's kind of off the backs of you talking about the weirdos. But what principles do the New Black Panther Party currently take in addressing self-hate and fostering rebuilding of empowerment? Because that's part of kind of like going what you're saying, that filters out a lot of the weirdos. But just speak a little bit on that.